And we're live.
Are we? Yes, we are finally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, hello, hello. How are we? Welcome to the last episode of the Psychic Coffee Shop for 2020.
For 2020, not the last one ever. I've already cautioned him, do not turn this into the suicide episode. Sorry, his statement earlier before he laid down was, I can't do it anymore. It's too hard. And then
Well,
he laid down. I was like, oh my God.
for those that don't know, of course, the last few days of the month, I'm taping videos. I'm dealing with really weird new moon energy, well, full moon energy of Cancer ends. It has been a day.
Well, and it has. And before, and that's even before, this day was already starting off rough when you were working last night.
Yes.
Because it was just like, it is a full moon at the asylum, and it's apparently free calling. I don't know what they're doing. Like, these people are nuts.
Well, for those that saw my story or reel or TikTok, you know what we're talking about. When I sat down in the office and the office in general, my guide starts playing, I'm going to whip somebody's ass. I'm like, oh, fuck. David, no. I don't know what you've got lined up for me to read tonight, but I really don't want to. Can I go back to bed?
Yeah, really? And hello, Shannon and Brenda, and Facebook user. And we're so glad you enjoyed your package. Is that Mika? I don't know.
Maybe, possibly, it's they're Facebook users, so they can stay Facebook users.
Okay, that's cool. Well, sorry. Sometimes Mika comes in, and it's like, okay, hi.
Since we're broadcasting to the break room, it's one of our sponsors.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's been one of those days. And I'm trying to work on tonight's show. Hi, Terry. And I'm trying to work on tonight's show because, of course, the last episode of 2020 is the predictions for 2021.
Hi, Kathy and Terry. And if you can't tell, it's a psychic coffee shop, and he's like, screw coffee tonight.
I've got my Mountain Dew. I've got my coffee. We're going to rock through this. We've got some news topics to talk about. Then I've got some predictions to make. And who knows? We'll go from there, y'all.
Yeah. Have you let your son out yet?
No, he's here asleep for the moment.
No, he's not asleep. He's waiting patiently. I told him you would.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, buddy. I lied to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. He's already in trouble for today. He's been on my last living nerve. Like, there are days that I understand why I do not have children.
Oh my gosh. Oh, well, I've had a fairly decent day. Like, I ended up at Hobby Lobby, framed the receipt. I left Hobby Lobby for less than $20. Yes, I'm okay. I don't need support.
That was a good thing that you left Hobby Lobby for less than $20. That is normally our goal. My goal is to walk out of Hobby Lobby spending $1.20.
Yeah. Well, everything I bought was on sale, so it was fun. Like, picked up some paper packs, grabbed me a notebook.
Mm-hmm.
It was quick and easy.
Yes.
Oh, you guys are so welcome for your packages. I'm glad you liked them, and I'm glad we got them out. We are sorry they didn't show up quite as early as we wanted them to.
Yep.
It took us a few days to get everything together, and like the post office.
That was a 3-time. Nope, ain't going in there. Nope, ain't going in there. Okay, I'll go in there. Hey, Ashley.
Well, in our local post office, the like, you got to envision this. It's in downtown. You would expect it's it's a decent sized post office. It really is. But where it's located, they have exactly 3 on-lot parking spaces for themselves or for, customers. Then they have like 2 or 3 spaces in the back you're not allowed to use. There's like 2 spaces in front of it on the road, and then maybe 3 spaces across the road. And their lobby is like this big.
Yeah, I am definitely investing and viewing into Click It to Ship It. Because we have the printing capability, we have the machine. I just have to set the account up.
We do, and we can upgrade the machine so that it's networked.
Especially since I handle mailings.
Well, yes, and since you've fallen in love with it, it took you like 3 years to touch it. I swear to God, he is the biggest troglodyte ever. He's just like, like we should just like hand him new technology. And it's
No. What's it connected to?
My computer.
What do I never touch?
My computer, because you enjoy living.
Yes. Otherwise, it would be a lot more organized, and you could find things on it, and we'd combine some drives and delete some partitions.
No, not happening. No.
There'd be some set deletions like every 3 months.
Do you know how much it messes me up every time you clean up your files? Because you keep forgetting that folder that I have that has your name on it is mine. It's a shared folder. So like the other day, I go to open a file I know I've created, and the whole folder's empty. There's nothing. And I'm just like, all righty then. All right. Yeah, no, just don't touch it. Got it.
Again, we're still getting used to having someone else in the office.
I know. I'm basically to the point of, and he's created a sneaker network. Come on, where is Mary? Where is Mary? I want to hear her feedback on the fact he is running a sneaker net in 2020.
It's the easiest way to transfer files, not have to touch anything else, and only use the programs I have to use.
Yeah. And you forgot your USB.
I didn't forget it. I left it plugged into that docking station. I'll come get it when I'm ready for it.
Okay. Which, may I point out, is like maybe like, I don't know, 512 megabytes. Like, it has gray hair.
It is, I believe, 1 or 2 gigs. It's more than enough to maintain the files if the house would burn down for me to recover and access a laptop to run my business.
Oh, okay. Got it. Fair enough.
Yes.
Like, I have one of those, like, side note, this is probably a good thing for everyone watching. I actually do have a, and it is older, I will, say that, but an older SD card that I actually have copies of things like my birth certificate and all this that is like, just in case, that is like, it's encrypted. God help me, it'll take me a week to remember the password, but it's at least encrypted. So if I lose it, it doesn't freak me out too bad. But I carry that with me at all times, just in case. It's like, yeah.
Well, I have normally the, as you call it, my sneaker network card lives on my keychain. Anything goes wrong, I grab my keys and I can run my business from any remote computer that I need to.
No, well, for me, it was always the concern that like something's going to happen. And, because, I mean, come on, like, I think we all know at this point that like crap happens.
Yeah.
Like, stuff blows up, gas lines go crazy, like, houses burn down.
Yeah.
It's not that I want these things to happen. It's just like, I want to at least have a starting point to be like, here is who I am.
Right. Well, not
Like,
only that, but at the same time, you've got to remember that, every business needs a continuation of business plan.
oh no, this is not the story of my mom's death certificate. It ain't on there.
Yeah.
Like, nope, we ain't going there.
Yeah. But no, think about it. If the offices flood, if we have a natural disaster, if I get airlifted out of here, if I would happen to go back into Black Ops operations, I need to be able to move and run the business.
Simple lightning strike.
Yeah.
The amount of stuff we could lose to lightning.
Yes.
I mean,
I'm not pissing Odin off anytime soon.
But stuff
and
happens.
Apollo is on my Christmas card list, so we're all good there.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
But just saying, like, stuff happens. And, yeah, I keep everything in a fireproof safe. But on top of that, I actually created it when I went to Mexico. Just so that if anything happened while I was there, like if my passport was lost, if all this other stuff was lost, hopefully I could hold on to the one stupid little SD card that no one would care about.
Right.
Like, it's so not, like, I think it's like maybe like a 1 gig or something. Just enough, just big enough to hold everything. That kind of SD card that it's like, oh, come on. I know I'm in Mexico, but like, there's no way in hell that is worth anything to anyone. Like, it's like, what was it? I guess like 2018. It's like, is it seriously worth anything to anyone? No. Should not.
Again, these are things that we, need to think of. And when you're a small business, you have to think of your continuation of business. And that's something that I believe everyone has learned or should have learned out of 2020, which is still giving us some wonderful things. For those looking at the map of West Virginia, yes, it does look like a red crayon has exploded on our state.
Yes. Aw, Terry likes 110. And that's her new name.
Yes.
Technically, she knows herself as Anna.
Or Nina. Or 110.
Yes.
Yes.
And for those of you who happen to know Chinese, yes, I did look up the word for dinner and named our cat.
Yes. You gave her a last name.
What? No, well, her full name is Anastasia Beaverhoffen. Yes.
Yes.
That's
if anyone is looking for the Russian princess, right here she is. She will happily return to Russia and rule the country.
Yes. But no. No, I've given our pets full names. Like, they had, like, diminutives, like Anna and Ollie. Yeah. Yeah. So Oliver is actually, a.k.a. Ollie, is Oliver Wendell Holmes.
Yeah.
Because you gave Vlad a full name, but then the rest of the animals, you're like, well, and then Prissy is just Prissy. Prissy is just Prissy. Like, she's like, I'm not interested.
Actually, her full name is Marie. It's on her paperwork.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh.
But no, the dogs have full names because they have paperwork.
Oh, well, that's true.
Yeah. The cats don't have paperwork. They're undocumented.
That's why she gets to be Anastasia Beaverhoffen. I'm waiting for someone to laugh hysterically at the reference.
I know. But let's talk about COVID and West Virginia, who, was supposed to be doing top of the nation according to Big Brother Jim. We now look like...
Well, that's because he hasn't tweaked the numbers yet.
Well,
just tweak the numbers. It'll be okay.
So bad he can't.
16% positivity rate. I mean, or are we even higher today? I've gotten the point. I just assume we're screwed. And yeah, I'm not even looking.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just seriously like there. I don't expect to get hope and like joy looking at the numbers. So I'm just like,
well, I'm looking because I want to try something out.
like when we were hovering around like 2 to 4%, I was paying attention. When we like shot so far past that, I was like, yep. Ooh, we're down to 10.45 today. 10.45 daily positivity. Oh,
Mhm.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's just. Oh, we were at 17 for Sunday. Cool. Oh, yeah. No, okay, so it was yeah, 12.67. Oh, to look back and be like, that whole like 5% thing wasn't so bad.
Right.
Like, oh, 7. Look at a 7. There we go. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. This red, 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 red. Oh, orange, orange. Round off colony actually changed colors.
Aw, but who switched back? Like, what is that?
Calhoun?
Oh, okay. Because that's a popular county.
Yeah.
Like, sorry. That's Calhoun, Ashley. That's Calhoun. We've got one. It used to be the really big one over there, not the one right against the state line, but the one just above it. That one was green just a few days ago.
This one was green.
Yeah, that's Randolph.
They've moved to a lovely gold.
Yeah, well, but Randolph was so proud. Like they kept commenting, like, let's go, guys. We're doing so great. Let's go. And we're all sitting here going, yeah, all 3 people that live there commented.
Yeah.
Like now they're probably at like 33%, and it's because one of them got sick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But looking at this just drives me insane. When we start looking at positivity rates, recorded positivity rates, 17, 10, 11, 12 on the 22nd.
Yeah, really.
Come on. You knew better than this.
Ashley's asking, have we seen the Colorado has the UK strain?
Yes, we have seen it.
Oh, like, I don't know. I'm just kind of getting to this point. Like, I just can't even look anymore. It's just like, are you people flipping kidding me?
Yeah.
So yeah, and then we have like, oh my gosh. Fayette County is ridiculous. Like, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
Mercer County, I'm sure, is actually, well, I don't know. It doesn't look like it's as bad as it has been.
Right.
Like,
why am I all blurry?
I don't know. Did the cat go up and start her public address and like?
I don't know. I think she's trying to contact the Chinese government.
Okay.
Yeah.
You okay over there? Have a little leg cramp, did you? Oh, okay. Sorry. He has been attacked by the cat. So he's going to take a personal moment and let that work itself out. And yeah, so no, I'm just looking at the numbers. It's
there we go. Yeah, I had to.
Hey, welcome back.
Window thing. Lens. That's what it is. A lens.
Okay. You had a lens issue. Okay.
Yeah.
And a cat attack.
Yes, and a cat attack that wasn't that nice on my knee.
So yeah.
Well, and we're starting to see that in West Virginia. Princeton Community Care just is diverting everybody.
Well, Princeton Community Hospital, which recently went into a WVU management agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're full. Yeah, they now they are on a non-emergency diversion.
Right.
Which what that means is if you are not experiencing an actual emergency, i.e., chest pain, respiratory difficulty, they are very strongly urging you to go elsewhere.
Right.
Because currently they are full.
Right.
There are no beds.
Problem with Princeton Community is they serve a 9-county region.
Yeah, they're basically welcome to Southern West Virginia. And what's going on there. And right now it's probably more counties than that they're serving when you really break into it. Because Princeton Community Hospital is at the very bottom of the state. So if I do my inappropriate map, they're down here. So yeah, the thing with this is that a lot of the surrounding areas don't actually have a hospital. Or the hospital that they have makes MedExpress look like advanced medical care. And if you've ever been to a MedExpress, it's basically a Band-Aid station. And that's advanced. That's how bad this is. In addition, Princeton Community just bought Bluefield Regional and shut it down. That means that the Bluefield, Virginia area lost the hospital. So that also starts affecting Bland County, Tazewell County, in Virginia. So you're talking about the only hospital for many, many miles in some places.
Well, it may not be surprising, but they may have to reopen that building. Of course, I also see and feel that probably by the end of January, we will see them reactivating Fairmont State Hospital. I also would gesture that they may be opening other closed hospitals for emergency use, staffing them with the, National Guard and whatever, and having to use them.
Yeah. Well, but that gets into, can we get a decent COVID-19 response in 2021?
Yeah.
Instead of this kind of let them all die mentality that we've had.
Right.
Because it's not, there cannot be a single medical professional or a single hospital or a single medical organization that has not been clamoring about the fact that we're screwed.
Right.
Help.
Right.
That's the simple message. We're screwed. Help.
Right. I also think that we will probably see the United States, every branch of the military's medical division, put onto active duty, including moving some pilots to bedpan services.
Yeah. I don't think there's going to be much option.
Right.
Very, very soon. It's just kind of a thing. Oh, wow. So Ashley points out that, and I'm kind of familiar with the Moses Cone Health System, is where she delivered previously at the Women's Hospital. It is now moved the hospital main campus, Moses Cone, and turned the Women's Hospital solely into a COVID hospital. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big thing for that area.
Right.
Because this is kind of the flip side. West Virginia, we realistically only have two health systems that are big enough that there's a whole building, a whole hospital that is this, and a whole hospital that's that. And that's the CMAC setup and the WVU setup.
Yes, currently.
Whereas, North Carolina, it's a lot more prevalent. You have Moses Cone Health Systems, Duke, trying to think of the other one, Chapel Hill. That's another one that is set up like that. Those are major hospitals. Ashley, what we're talking about with hospitals, if you haven't been up here, you would laugh at. I more in line if you've been to Thomasville. I believe there's a tiny little hospital there. That it's kind of joke. Or there you go. Cape Fear actually Cape Fear I think has a decent health system. Probably by comparison. Like Princeton was just starting to get their act together and get bigger.
Right.
Like they were just starting to acknowledge the fact that, oh crap, we're servicing a lot.
Yeah.
Oh good lord. Yeah. Okay. If you're at CAMC is sad, and believe me, it is. But compared to New York, that's like drop in a bucket. And most of the West Virginia hospitals are even smaller and more minuscule and sad than that.
Right. But I also feel like they're going to start, I may have to be answering the phone and going, no, sorry, I can't return to the floor. Because they're going to start calling out retirement nurses, retirement doctors.
Oh, no, I know what she's talking about. Yeah, okay, so Vietnam in North Carolina. Yeah. Basically in that, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, people who live down there, we really do call it Vietnam because you cannot go through the Fayetteville, North Carolina area without feeling like you're in a war-torn country. And that is just because of all the U.S. military vehicles. And the fact that they specifically widen the roads so that 18-year-olds driving a Humvee don't kill people. It's scary.
Yeah, they're calling retirees. They will be calling retirees. That could be scary in itself. Which, when you had your neck surgery, there were some things that went on there, and I'm like, I don't have a clue what the hell you're doing, but you better be doing it right.
Okay.
Well, it's like the pain sensor ones they have now, the IV pumps, some of the things that have been automated. I mean, come on. My nursing skills are 20 years old. They're calling in retirees that could be 30 years old, 40 years old.
Or, well, I see what you're saying, but in some senses, general nursing stays the same. Like, if you were a, trauma nurse, I am quite sure that, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Or more importantly, what you're going to be dealing with is effectively the same. Some of the treatment, some of the equipment's changed and upgraded.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's going to be a stress point, but... And, well, no, even the ventilators, I would say.
No, they haven't.
Really? Seriously?
The ventilators are the same ventilators that we had in the 80s. You set the dials and you let it roll. You make sure the suction mask stays on and the tube is in place. It ain't that hard to do. I can do it with a pen case.
Oh, well, actually, going the other way is there's so many kinds and so much has changed.
With IVs and fluids and that type of thing, yes. Ventilators haven't really changed in the past 40 years.
Well, functionally, no. Now, I'm sure they've gotten a little bit of a tech upgrade on the front end, and it's not quite the dial that it was, and it's more of a, little menu and touchscreen or whatever. Like, I'm sure they've gone that route. And I think that was more what she was saying, and that each one has its own, thing.
Right. But your pressure's your pressure, your intake's your intake, your outtake's your outtake. That'll be fine. The more sensitive medical equipment will be a little annoying.
Yeah.
Because I can even get annoyed with the blood pressure cuffs. And I'm like, those aren't accurate. Those haven't been accurate. What the hell are you using that for? Get one all over those over there.
Well, yeah, but then on the flip side, you also have to consider the EMR systems that if you're 30 years out, 20 years out, even 10 years out, like EMR has really, really done a lot. And like charting is charting, but those are new users that have to be set up in the system. Those are users who may not understand what the hell's going on here.
Right.
because a lot of those systems have not been made very like clear and easy to use, as
Mm-hmm.
we've gone through in our own doctor's appointments
Right.
with current staff that is currently working, that was trained on these systems, unable to find stuff.
Right.
And it's like, I'm sitting there telling them, yeah, I had that test done and it was, the results were sent. And they're like, I can't find it.
Uh-huh.
And they're having to dig and dig and dig before they're like, oh, yeah, there's that other stupid screen. Let me check it,
Mm-hmm.
for this thing. Or there's that other stupid screen over here for that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, they're like, okay, I found it. And it's like, now my 15-minute appointment just became 30 and I've just screwed up someone else's day.
Right. But the other thing to realize there is we may be pulling out we may have to pull out, and I'm quite sure many hospitals are, their mothballed systems.
Well, or they're going to have to go back to paper charting and literally start hiring data entry specialists.
Right.
People to sit there and once this is all over, to do, or going straight transcription and having people transcribe it through data or
right.
transcriptionists to, put that in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that can happen. I mean, right. That may be something that has to be considered, is what's the value of your EMR if it's going to prevent you from utilizing staff.
Right. And we saw this when Princeton Medical was held hostage.
Yes, they went, Princeton Community went a few years back through a very unfortunate ransomware attack. Mm-hmm. That literally crippled the hospital for months.
Right.
And they had to go all the way back to the Stone Age of paper charting and then had to go deal with it on the back end. Right. Because literally every computer system in that building that was not a Mac product or not an Apple product was hit in a ransomware attack.
Right.
And so literally so few systems were functional. Mm-hmm. They couldn't do anything.
Right. Now, I do think that we will start to see a lift of COVID by spring. I do feel by summer we will slowly begin walking ourselves out of this hole, but it will take till probably full summer.
Mm-hmm.
Before life gets back to the new normal. I think that we will continue to see a mass exodus and a mass move to work from home, continuing. This new strain that's that's called the UK strain, aka now in Arizona, I feel is 4 times as bad. And I do think that the vaccine is going to be the only way to stop this.
Okay, and when you say 4 times as bad, do you mean in effect or in spread or
in both? Lasting long-term effect and spread.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify. Like, 2020 has been the year. It's like, can we get some specification on bad?
Yes.
Like, are we talking like Sharknado bad?
Mm-hmm.
Or are we talking like, Murder Hornets bad?
Well, I think
like, where are we at?
Find out is, Kathy, yeah. I think they're eventually going to find out that this virus is technically 4 different viruses in one. It has mutated 4 different times. We have one coming in from the UK that actually probably came in from Poland. We have another one coming out of Africa, and then we're going to have one coming out of the Sudans.
Okay. And yeah, it's being pointed out 70% more aggressive on the UK strain.
Right.
So, yeah. Yeah. Like we needed more aggressive. Like, I don't know. Maybe this will work for that, batch of idiots who won't put on a mask. Like, you didn't listen the first time when I went easy on you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try again.
Well, you bring up the next thing that I think is going to become even more problematic. And I felt like the next thing coming up more problematic is this whole conspiracy theory crap that's going around. Is going to become more dangerous. We've seen that out of the Nashville bombing. This is now being connected to the
Minion systems, the election, the ballot systems company. Yeah, that it's some great big cover up for Dominion and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yes, Kathy. He said yes. He said yes. Oh gosh. So Aaron is in a small South Dakota hospital, and they are wall to wall patients and have opened a floor that hasn't seen patients in over 15 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of that brings up, like, for some hospitals that may not be a horrific thing. Like sometimes you just, like, you end a service, you move a service out, you don't have something that goes in, and or like a floor becomes storage because you just need somewhere to store crap. I know that happened to part of Princeton Community Hospital. They moved, they had bought a hospital, turned it into a behavior health pavilion, and moved one entire section of the hospital into it and just closed it.
Right.
Oh, well, I have my own issues with Meditech, Aaron, and God help you. That's all I can say for Meditech. Don't get me wrong, it's an older system, and but it's an older system. Like when it stresses, it stresses. That's it. There's nothing you can do for it.
Right.
You can throw all the computing power you want to at it, but once you hit the break point for Meditech, it's gone. Like it just can't handle anymore. It was one of those like medium, like small and medium hospital systems. I used to run into it frequently with debt collections. Horrible way to know the system. But all of our small hospitals had it, just about. And you want to talk about annoying? Meditech is annoying. It's also an older system. That's key takeaway. It's an older system, and a lot of it really wasn't very supportive of like external internet. It was dial-up modem.
Right.
I think we only ran into one that had upgraded.
Right. I think that we're also going to see a large push in June for what I call the hospital networking telenet systems. This may be Meditech or something to that effect. But basically, no matter where you are, your chart is in the cloud.
Well, I think that's going to be an advancement on EMR. And we're going to look at linking those systems together and getting them into something that's actually more accessible to both patients and medical staff in general.
Right.
Like that would be like, that's what I've been screaming for years is we went through all this shit. And excuse me, we went through all this shit to get electronic medical records into literally every hospital, every doctor's office. I've been staring at the back of doctors' heads for like 10 years now. It's not making me happy. And yet we're still at best being given little patient portals for every fucking different provider you see.
Well, see, this is going to be the difference between that and the current patient portals, which we have like 4, whatever hospital system you're on that has its own one. This will be government ran and government maintained.
Yeah. Like that's honestly, I think where we have to be at this point.
Right.
Like we're gonna have to get serious about like what's accessible to whom, and I think there's gonna have to be some strong ass legislation on the back end about accessing the shit, sharing the shit, doxing people and all that. That's like, if you're medical personnel and you illegally access the system for your own benefit, like you want to go see some shit you shouldn't because that's not a patient in front of you. Yeah, you're going to be doing prison time. That's what that needs to become.
Right.
Like, you intentionally, illegally access.
Legal matter. But moving on from healthcare.
Yeah.
Let's move into the oil prices. God, I think I was reading something earlier on the futures of Dow, the Dow, and possible seeing oil prices at 25.5. Um, well, Ashley, that really depends on the state. Commonly, the governor will appoint somebody until special election. It may be a spouse, it may be a runoff mate.
Or someone at random, I do believe, is also an option. No, crypto. What?
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to go crypto everywhere?
No, I think we may see oil prices at $25 a barrel.
Oh, that's if we can get them to hold.
Right.
I mean, now, technically, the predictions are we're not going to go back to negative $40 a barrel.
Yeah.
So, yay. Which that was built around oil futures, and the unfortunate reality, you can get to a point in which no one wants your oil. We have enough oil. Quit sending us oil. We will pay you to take the oil away.
Right.
That's where negative 40 came in. So basically, we've adjusted production. We've slowed production down to a point that we can hold an oil price unsteadily. But yeah, I think, again, all of this is built on optimism that, like, go all the way back when this first happened earlier this year. It was kind of this moment of, well, like, this stuff's gotta go away soon, right? Like, I mean, there was a point before, like, I think August, everyone was still like, I think we're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, we were still optimistic for a couple more weeks.
Right.
Before everything, like, we hit back to school and just went, oh God, we're driving off a cliff. Got it.
Yeah.
But there was a brief period in, like, the stock market and oil futures and all this. We kept thinking, all right, this is going to correct itself before, like, Q4. Okay, well, this is going to correct itself before the holidays. Like, this hope kept pervading, and now it's like, oh no, 2021 could end up looking a crap ton like 2020 financially, economically, productivity wise, production wise. We're still going to be, like, recoiling from everything that just happened last year. And no, you can't build a forecast for 2021, because if you're basing it off 2020, you're like, well, we're screwed.
Well, I think we're going to see oil prices around $25 a barrel. That is 50 cents a gallon of crude oil, for those that aren't familiar. But I think it's going to come straight from Saudi Arabia and Russia going, bye-bye.
Yeah, Aaron, that's kind of what I'm like. That's what I keep feeling like, is it's like, this is just the best of. Like, this is like 2020 was just the best of. 2021 is going to be its own shit show. That would be scary. That would be really scary.
That would be really scary for investors. Now, if you're a day trader, I'm going to immediately suggest you see your doctor. You may need to have some medication for manic depression, because I do think the markets are going to be volatile probably for most of the year. If you're a long-term investor, hold your money till next year, buy it then.
Yeah, and that's not even like a bad joke about bipolar disorder. It's going to be like that, like, crazy level, like, woo. 1 minute everything looks great, next minute everything looks like it's, the world is ending, and you're like, gonna have some anxiety, a lot of it.
Right. But if you're planning for retirement and you're investing for retirement, take a chill pill. You ain't got nothing to worry about. We've got 5 years to pull out of this. It'll be okay.
Well, and more importantly, if you're still working and you have job security and, everything in your life is stabilized, try to limit, like, new purchases. and try to max out your employee matching or your company matching. The reason I say that is right now, forget your current retirement account value. Forget that. Just trash that number. That number doesn't exist. We don't care about that number. The thing you've got to realize is right now you're buying low, and if you time your retirement right, you'll be selling high. So right now, every dollar you're putting in has more value than it has had in years for buying stock. So on, all markets correct, when this starts going up, you're going to start seeing like tremendous gains in that retirement account. And if you're like 20, 30 years away from retirement, it's a safe bet this is going to go through a correction before you retire. So you're effectively, spending pennies on the dollar for that future value. Like, and that's just common sense. Right. We saw this in like 2008 to 2010 with the housing bubble and the ensuing, stock disasters. And it really did. They're like, for an explicit example, the company I was working for when I left a job in 2010 did a final deposit of, a year-end employee matching for what I had contributed up to when I left. Well, by a fluke, it maintained its active employee status instead of terminated employee status, is what it should have converted to, and just thrown everything in an IRA. So what I watched happen was they put in $158 or thereabouts. I pulled out $700 and some dollars. You don't typically see gains like that. And it's one of those moments I really wish I had left the money I had sitting there. Because, oh, wow, it could have been a whole lot more.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry, just sharing.
I know, darling. But again, long-term investors, this is your time to get into save and gain. Short-term investors, not a good time to be a short-term investor. Don't be taking risky stuff. I think we're also going to see some changes in the bond and gold markets.
Okay, so Aaron is asking about cryptocurrency, like where's it headed?
Well, I think that after it gets through a scandal in May, it'll do fine. But there's something that goes on with cryptocurrency in May that may call in regulation to the currency.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it is an entirely electronic system, and it has been, really heavily touted for the, benefits of blockchain and this ability, to have a trusted authority that is sitting here constantly. You can't do anything wrong because everything has to balance with everyone.
Right.
Now, I know there were some comments made this year about, well, there's actually a few things that can go wrong. But there's also, it's, and I say it a lot, you build a better mousetrap, you make a better mouse. And we've seen this with a lot of tech products, is that when you call yourself the best, when you call yourself impenetrable, when you call yourself this, you just invite the sharks. That is the blood and the chum in the water. And when that happens, you are just drawing attention and more people trying to break your shit. And eventually they do. Or in the case of LifeLock, you didn't have your stuff together to start with. So your founder owner who puts their stupid social security number in their commercials suffers a lot.
Read Aaron's comment.
Okay, as you're speaking, BTC just jumped another 7%.
Yeah, but again, I think that it's a safe bet. I think it's going to move okay, but there's some scandal about it in May that calls in government regulation or a government entity to look at it.
Well, and it may just be the sheer fact that this is an alternative currency.
Mm-hmm.
Governments don't like those.
Well, I think the government's going to have to. It's one of those they're going to have to get into it.
Mhm.
Government didn't like gambling, but they got into it. And now they run the biggest lottery in the world.
Well, true.
Okay.
But what I'm functionally meaning is that like this really is kind of a risky thing. Um,
When I say something's going to happen, I would compare this to the Madoff scandal.
mm. So someone's going to figure out a great way to pull something,
Uh-huh.
and it's going to be like, whoa, back it up.
Yeah, there wasn't that many chain links in this chain. Why is there suddenly now additional links? Where did this come from? Who's trying to rewrite this?
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, that's kind of goes in that same thing. Is the more you call yourself impenetrable,
the more you get to it. Okay, so we've talked about the Dow and how next year is the year of investments.
I love it. Aeson, you hush your dirty mouth.
Oh, please, honey. My mouth's being clean tonight. We've talked about oil prices and how we could see gasoline really freaking cheap, especially with people not wanting to travel. Let's move on to our favorite topic, Apple.
Oh, yes, Apple. Apple, yes.
Yeah.
Apple lost a copyright claim lawsuit against a U.S. security bug startup.
Uh-huh.
Wonderful Reader's title. We love them, love them, love them. So basically, this company, Corellium, created its own version of iOS that could be used for penetration testing. This is not a dirty word. This is literally what it is when you're testing software to see like how you can break it. Like, what's your points of failure? How do you get around this? How do you get through the wall of security that should exist in the software, or that is reported to exist in the software, etc. So what will break it? This is what this company does. They make their software available to other companies to do their own testing, and effectively, Apple tried to sue, claiming that because they created iOS, control it. This has been Apple's big thing for the last many years. Is Apple owns Apple. All things Apple. If they own copyright, they own trademark, they own everything. They own your device, and all the software on it. So whatever Apple says goes. This is the first time that I believe they have ever been told, no, you don't.
No. This will not be the last time they're told, no, you don't.
Yeah. Well, Apple's been pushing this really hard for many years.
Right.
Like, it's a large part of how Apple retains control.
Well, and I understand that. But Apple and themselves, I feel, will lose market share. They will lose a lot of things this coming year. A lot of lawsuits this coming year. I also do feel that there's legislation that will be proposed that, fix this, you can fix it as long as you can drive it. Law.
Yeah, right to repair. Yeah, right to repair. That's, I believe, coming to a head soon.
Yeah.
Like, that's been the biggest, ugliest form of Apple's copyright claims.
Mm-hmm.
And it does, like, Apple has created some of the wildest tests of copyright claim.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, ordering a screen or a battery that has the Apple logo screen printed on it that has been refurbished or has been resold because that screened logo is on there. Apple can claim copyright infringement. So that's why it is so hard in this right to repair scenario to buy, refurbished and, recycled components to repair Apple devices. Is not only do they claim like on your imports or any purchase of these things that there's a copyright problem, just as if you were getting knockoff handbags that say Fui Vuitton, but it also creates an issue in terms of Apple goes so far as to proactively make sure that when you install it, this new battery, this new screen, that you're most likely going to brick the device and it will not work.
Well, I'm predicting that we're going to see a class action suit or something that reaches the Supreme Court that shuts that down. I also feel that we may even see a new level of technology coming out that's going to be more hands-off, more verbal control, a lot like I can do with the Alexa brick.
The what?
The block you have that I can tell the TV what I want to see.
The cube.
Okay.
No, it's Tesla has a brick.
Whoever has the brick and you can do whatever. But speaking of Elon Musk, I think he's going to come out with a car that is actually designed for the everyday American in the everyday American price range.
Oh, that could get interesting.
Yeah. That's all electric. And he may even get it to where you can get a grant to buy the car.
Well, and I'm wondering if that's going to start hitting communities, especially now. That if you could get an affordable vehicle that would, and you could get a grant to buy it through, say, a nonprofit organization, would we potentially start seeing fleets of those become the new mass transit for small communities? As in to address these situations that we run into. Like, for example, like just getting your mom to her doctor's appointments. Like, literally, a lot of the systems that exist, it's not profitable. Like when you have a driver that is dependent upon being in motion to make money, it really only benefits them to do local trips. But when your mom has a distanced appointment, 30, 40, 50 miles, that driver's effectively stuck. Like, we don't have good logistics in, ironically named in West Virginia, Logisticare, in that system that is meant to transport patients. We don't have good logistics management that those drivers moving and earning. Instead, we have a lot of figure it out on your own. And so for a lot of drivers, the really quick lesson is, no, I can't take you. It's not worth my time. I have to keep in motion. Setting and waiting for you for an hour or being in an area outside of my home area, I'm screwed. Because I can't get more patients while you're in your appointment and get them where they need to be. So yeah, it really is a shitty system. It works okay for local. Like if you live here and the hospital is here just a few miles away, or your doctor's office is here, and you stay in that like 10-mile radius, it's not a bad system. The minute you have to go a distance, we don't have good solutions. We don't have a good plan. So I'm wondering if, like, maybe you're seeing anything that way. Like, are we going to start to embrace this technology for people who need medical transport?
I don't know about embracing it for medical transport, but being able to pay $15,000 and get a electric car that's totally electric and able to like work and live in West Virginia, we're going to see a lot more of that. I think he's going to come out with something that is Tesla-like, maybe a new brand that is not the top of the line Tesla, but for $1,500 you have a lovely Topo electric car.
Okay. So basically 2 seats and a window.
Well, something to about the size of the Soul, minus the engine that isn't an engine, it's a battery on crack.
Right.
Right.
No, I got that. I'm just saying it's going to be a very small unit. It's not super huge.
Right.
But that's also where I'm at, is I would love to see nonprofits that can functionally embrace this.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Tesla is way over.
Right.
Like that being a feasible thing. Like you're not going to get your money out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Like the value provided versus the money required.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be hard to pull off. But if you're down into like a literal like vehicle, a normal vehicle price range,
mm-hmm.
if you can keep it moving
mm-hmm.
without the driver problem, exactly, a Ford Festiva with a solar battery. That's where my head went.
Right.
I'm there.
Right. I also think travel itself is going to go back to being the experience of traveling. I think the days of seeing airplanes packed with as many chairs as you can get in there may be over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've thought for decades, like we have this entire network of railway. And what I've never been able to understand is why we cannot effectively have like rental passenger cars and effectively chain them together, like individual units, like tiny little unit that can kick on and off. Like if we put some minor investment into our railway systems, I would think we could have a bigger, better transportation system that would probably improve a lot of lives.
Right.
But that's just me. But I think the electric car movement is going to be a big part of that.
Yeah,
I think that's the missing component.
Right. But I do think that we may see a return or a reawakening of Amtrak and of Pacific South. Those were competing railways. But this stack them all in as cattle carring is going to stop.
Yeah, the Jetsons missed the mark. Like, can we just all call that, like, science fiction writers missed the mark, I think, by at least a century of where we were going to be by, like, the 2000s in terms of transportation. That, like, really, who thought, like, have you seen some of the assholes on the road? You thought, like, letting them move in 3 dimensions was going to be a good idea? Like, really? What sci-fi writer thought that one, or didn't think that one through, that made this such a prolific thing? That we're going to let them move in 3 dimensions because they're already fucking up 2.
Well, they've already tried that, and the government shut that one down. But, Aaron brings up another one about the hyper-rail system. Yes, they're currently testing the hyper-rail system in West Street while building a facility to test it.
Yeah. Not to actually use it, not for it to be a mass transportation solution in West Virginia. It is simply a test facility because we have more land than people care to buy.
Right.
And, it's sort of like the Stepford Wives equivalent of where would no one notice a hyper-rail system? I know, West Virginia.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, that is actually really nice. Ashley's bringing up how well Amtrak is doing with handling COVID.
I also feel like there will be probably some sort of passport or something that you have to have with you when you travel.
Yeah, that's been starting to pop up as a theory of what, like, 2021 is going to bring us.
Right.
I think that ties back into, like, mass, availability of EMR. Like,
Well,
I don't think you're going to be able to get from A to B for very long.
right.
You know, without an actual like national EMR system.
Right. I
Um,
also think that states are going to start enforcing the border codes that probably haven't been seen since the early 1800s. Let's say that's probably in May.
okay. And yeah, so Aaron points out, Lord Jesus, honey, it's desolate out here, South Dakota.
It's also cold.
Aaron, we're loving you this evening. You are so awesome.
Yes.
Like, where have you been? Like, what? Come on. Hi.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, though. But yeah. Oh, good deal. First vaccination.
Yeah.
Way to go. Good
Uh,
deal.
let me see. What else do I want to talk about? I think that in society we'll have a new social media pop up that will make TikTok look like candy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's a lurker, first time poster. Oh,
hey, welcome to the frat.
come on, we don't bite, you know, unless you ask us to.
But you know, I think that we'll see a new social media pop up. I think that Parler will end up being shut down by the FTC.
Oh, that's a fair one. God.
No, Parler's going to get shut down, and so is the MeWe one.
Well, I don't even think they have. Some of these are going to have to be shut down as much as they're just going to die of obscurity.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be that random moment where people like show up and they use it for 5 minutes, and then they're like, no one's here.
Yeah.
I can't make any money. It's just a bunch of bitchy old whiny Republicans. And they're gonna run away.
Right.
Like, you know. Like DIY bomb making is probably big on Parler, which really isn't like where a lot of people are. Like, I just want some cookies. I want DIY cookies.
Okay.
Just saying, like, you know, I mean, I think Parler, and we've seen this happen with a few social medias that are here today, gone tomorrow, soon to be forgotten by all, is that they end up being born out of this like one special interest group. And then that's everyone who's there. And literally, I think those special interest groups can only take so much of their own bullshit before they're like, okay, well, that was a great circle jerk, guys. Bye-bye.
Right. But what I'm saying is I believe Parler is actually shut down by the FTC. If not, alcohol, firearms, and tobacco for violations. I also feel like Section 232, for those that don't know, Section 232 is the one that protects Facebook and Twitter from being sued, gets removed. And therefore, what you post on Facebook or on Instagram or anywhere else could legally hold you accountable for it.
Yeah. And Ashley brings up a point, like, and I kind of get that. I really do. I really wish sometimes there was an easy accessible eye in the sky for social media, because she would like to see like what's on Parler, but doesn't want an account.
Right.
And I can understand that. Like, a lot of sites do this, like, sign up wall, paywall, like whatever. And it's kind of like, nah, I'd really like to see what I'm getting into here. Like, how bad is this? Like, how wild is this? How nuts is this? What kind of people are here? Not just your slick media marketing, but like live. What's going on? Like, give me a pulse here. And I get that. And I think that really needs to be a focus in social media of public posting, being something that truly is public that you don't need an account for.
But go to Aaron's question.
Okay, since we were talking about bombs, theory on Nashville bomber who mysteriously hasn't been on the radar. I'm not buying that.
I'm going to suspect that they will find that he's been online. They're going to find that he is subscribed to a lot of people that are tinfoil hatters. I think this is another case of the pizza shooting of Washington, D.C., of this other misinformation that's been going on for a while. It is going to be that I don't remember the group. What's the group? Give me the A word.
QAnon.
The QAnons.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to find out that the QAnons are filled with a lot of problems.
Yeah.
I also
Well,
think that we may start seeing massive federal investigations on QAnon itself.
yeah. So domestic terrorist, part of a radicalized group. Like, can we start using those words again? Like in like I'm getting that there was a color issue here that has kept us, from like using those words in the past with media. But can we see 2021 just be the year that we call an ace and a spade, and just like we start calling like these are no longer lone wolves and blah blah blah, and we start using the words like white terrorist together. Like, I would like to see that. I would really like to see that.
Right. And but again, I can't think of the word half the time of what to call them because there's another A word that'll come out later. But QAnon, I think, will be investigated. I feel like they will find out that it's actually a chain of information, kind of like we see with the coin thing. But I really feel like that ends up in a lot of arrests. I think they will also probably either find a manifesto mailed to a federal judge's office or a manifesto that was published and ends up in judge's court. And they're not talking about it. I think Cheeto won't talk about it because it's something serious and he can't politicize it for his well-being. I think the Proud Boys, and I'm not talking about my Proud Boys, I'm talking about his Proud Boys, may get arrested on UK on the same charges they used to do with the Ku Klux Klan.
Okay. Well, no, and I think that's that's especially an important point is like the Proud Boys. Can we talk about this for a second?
Yes.
Like, can they seriously get any like more like gay? Like, I'm sorry, I just gotta call that one myself. Is like they just seem like they can't understand how like much of a gay relationship they're getting into with each other. Like it's going to be a surprise to them one night. Like it's just going to be one too many beers and suddenly like the hate rally turns into an orgy. Like I'm calling it.
Well, I don't think it turns into an orgy. I think it turns into an arrestable event. Well,
probably because it's COVID season.
Well, I feel like the FBI, ATF is going to hit them harder than they hit the Hells Angels.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and that's basically what I'm talking about, Aaron. Thank you for following along. So, yeah, they did that bare-ass event in which they had written stuff on their butt cheeks, and they're wearing kilts from a gay company. It was just like, y'all are trolling yourselves.
Uh-huh.
Like, bless your heart. That's all I got for y'all. Oh, yeah, no homo socks because that helps.
Right. I also think that by the end of the year, we will re-envision education for the K through 12.
Yes. That's another thing. Like,
I think our new first lady that is actually going to be a first lady is going to be going, oh, what the fuck y'all thinking y'all doing? I don't know what the hell Betsy DeRoss was doing or why she wasn't sewing a quilt, but this is what we're going to do now.
Yeah, really. Well, and I'm just going to be happy to have an education secretary who, like, has an education and a brain and compassion. Basically, I'm going to be happy we have an education secretary that's not the Grinch.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, that's where I'm at. Like, I think anything that could happen at that point is going to be amazing.
Yes, I do think that virtual will be more of a thing. I do think that the what we've learned how to use virtual, it has now become part of. After you've used it for 2 years, it will become part of your ingrained culture.
Well, and we should point out that education, at least higher education, in terms of college and such, they've been trying to make this virtual move for literally 2 decades now. If not a little bit more, because way back in the day, I went to college. It was the year 2000. I know I'm old. But like, yeah, because that means I'm 38. Like, hi, anyone doing math? But no, we got there. There was Blackboard, and just trying to get people through that system was nuts.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the thing you wanted eventually. And it's just kind of this whole online education thing has been hanging out there.
Mm-hmm.
It got mass adopted by some like really disreputable places.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like ITT, and I'm sorry, I'm
University.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of online only schools.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that really didn't have anything to back themselves up. They weren't accredited, or they weren't really well accredited. A lot of them get shut down. A lot of them get investigated because what they're saying they can do for you and what they can do for you, it's a lot of hair splitting. So I am excited to see traditional education really having to like, okay, guys, we're going to do this. But yeah.
But no, I also think that we're going to see a change in lifestyles. We're already seeing this out of Silicon Valley being a mass exodus. I think it'll be no longer do you live in this city to take this job? It'll be like, do you live somewhere where you can connect to the internet at this minimum speed?
Right. And that's going to throw a bigger push on infrastructure, which we have, again, West Virginia. Welcome to West Virginia. For those of you who aren't aware, we have had an infrastructure, at least in terms of technology and internet, for decades that, much like rural America, or the rest of rural America, we've been getting screwed on taxpayer money in terms of we've let ISPs, because way back in the day, there was this lovely idea of municipal internet services, municipal Wi-Fi, 20-year-old concept. A lot of communities were pushing to build these. It was a big topic. It was a hot topic. ISPs were like, no, we can do this ourselves. Please quit doing that. You're harming our businesses. Flash forward 20 years, and I don't know, billions of dollars, trillions of dollars at this point in subsidies to tech companies, to ISPs, to build out their networks, to fund, this reinvestment in infrastructure. We have fuck all of nothing that affects anything other than a major city. Like, we're sitting in Oak Hill. We can get 1 gigabit per second internet connection, and whole parts of the state cannot even get online or cannot get a reliable 10 megabit per second connection.
Right. Well,
Basic DSL.
the other side of that is I think that they're going to have to roll it out like they done electricity.
Mm-hmm. Which is what we should have done 20 years ago.
Which is what the whole world done except the United States.
Exactly. 20 years ago, we had a solution for this problem. Guess what we're doing now? That.
Yeah. But I think that it's going to be very much like they done electricity when they ran electric lines across the country or interstate across the country. The other side of that, however, is it moves the type of education that the student can get. Example, if you want your child to learn to play the cello, his teacher can be living in San Diego and he can be in Wayne County, West Virginia.
Well, and I think it also changes what we're doing with education as well. And this may actually be the first time we're going to be actually preparing kids for the modern workplace and what that's going to actually mean. 30 years ago, 20 years ago, we were, and up to COVID-19, we were still built on this idea that we're all going to be 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, wage slaves, if you're lucky. If you're lucky. Otherwise, you're going to be over here working a shift job and being told to go get a real job and a real education, but don't complain about the cost to do that.
Right.
But no, we were all being built for this corporate environment. We were all being trained for a corporate environment. And right now, welcome to 2020, and, don't know what you've been missing for the last decade or so. More and more people are not in corporate environments. They're not working Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. This is not how this works anymore. This is not the job. We're not creating factory workers anymore because there are not factory jobs to work. What we're actually creating are a lot more online, telecommuting, traveling employees or independent contractors. That has been the big surge. But we're still treating education like we're training little, widget makers. Still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, sorry. What happened?
Nothing. I was just letting you finish.
Okay, I finished.
Okay. So what do you think 2021 is going to look like? Since I've been giving a lot of predictions, your turn.
Well, I'm just saying I'm hopeful for a lot of things changing, especially like in education, in healthcare, in all of these things that we can learn from this, that 2020 can be the year that we got it. That, it took a massive death toll, that, what we're at, like one in every 1,000 Americans has now died. I do believe that's where we've hit statistically, has contracted COVID and died of it. So that should be our wake-up call. That, we got to change the way we're running our world. Like, this crap's not working. We have a lot of fail points and stress points that we have to address. Like, that's my big thing.
Okay.
Oh, fast forward to 2022.
Oh, then we have another. That's a 6 year. That could be better. I really think that we don't see a lot of changes to a lot of things to 2025. I also think that we start consuming movies and television differently than we've had before. I think streaming becomes really large, and we start seeing a decline of cable companies.
Yeah, well, cable, I think, has kind of, it shot it to himself in the foot. Like, they didn't build out their infrastructure. They took a lot of government money to do that. They keep trying to force everyone to keep their cable boxes. Like, talk about a dying piece of technology. Like, Jesus. And come on, have you tried playing with on-demand content on a cable box? Ugh. No. This is not where consumers are at. Cable companies have failed to realize this. I think they're just starting to get it. It's already way too late. They are the blockbuster of the 2020s. They are going downhill fast. I see a lot of them are going to end up, they're just going to be ISPs. And I think that the concept of cable service, as we have known it up to this point, is probably a dying thing. I doubt there's going to be many TVs that are going to continue to support this channel as we previously known it concept. And they're going to be strictly internet devices, that it's effectively a computer. I also think that's probably technology-wise going to be a lot of where we fill the gap in computing.
And Aaron has a question.
Okay. Care to comment on the change to the Piscean era?
I think there's going to be a lot more of emotions, a lot more expressing of emotions. I think we're going to see a lot more of us, they, ours, them. I don't think it's going to be so harmonious for probably the first 5 to 6 years of it. I think we still have a lot of division there.
All right. And Terry has a question. Ready to shuffle and get that one?
Sure.
All righty. So Terry, 31357. Will this year be a good year for Mark and myself?
Take a look here. Yeah, but you've got to remember to keep it simple. With the 6 of Cups showing here, keep it simple. Don't overthink it. Don't make it complicated. I think you'll be fine. I do feel like you're still trying to find y'all's balance, y'all's rhythm, and the dance of a relationship, and I feel like that'll be moving forward.
Awesome. So yeah, Mika was knocked out. Welcome back to the land of the living. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, that's okay. Watch the replay. I made some interesting predictions, and Joe made some interesting counters.
Well, I had questions. Like, I have concerns, I have thoughts, and I have hopes. Like, that's where I was at. I'm just, like, talking it out. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, what we got going on? Oh, Ashley has a question.
Yes, we'll take Ashley's question.
Awesome. 8/26/96. Will I be blessed financially before the end of January? And I don't think she's talking about the stimulus check.
No, we'll get to that because I'm holding that one for the last.
Yes, we will get there.
All right, we see the 4 of Cups here with you being able to relax. I do feel you walking away from some things that enables you to be more financially comfortable with the 4 of Pentacles there.
All right.
But anyway, let's talk about the stimulus checks. Are they 600? Are they 2,000?
Will they ever be like?
Will they ever be? I think that we will get a stimulus check. I think Mitch McConnell is getting his ass handed to him right now and being shown that he may not be the top dog in the Senate. Georgia, pay attention. Get your asses out the vote. Louisiana, let's hope that you get someone into Congress that'll be well worth it. And I actually think there will be a total of 3 different stimulus checks sent out when we get done with this for the Americans. Our other counterparts in the world have been receiving checks monthly or quarterly. Why the United States is too busy to discuss this issue today was beyond me. But if you watched the Snapping Turtle of Kentucky, all he had to say about the whole thing was, I object, I object, I object, which delayed the vote.
Basically. But now, okay, so like, where are we at though? Like for 2021, what are your thoughts on, is this actually going to be a stimulus check or is this just going to be more like posturing?
I feel like there will be 3 stimulus checks sent out. I think there will be a $600 to $1,800 check sent out. I think then they will have to turn around and inject another $2,000 into the economy, and then by the end of the tax season, they will have to have injected another $1,000 to $1,500 into the economy.
Okay.
Or we're going to have massive problems.
Well, and I think those are the bare minimum numbers. Like, what I keep hoping for is we'll finally get it together and realize that this whole like baby check program, this like, don't tax the billionaires, but let's just throw peanuts at the peasants thing. Like, someone's gonna finally get it.
Right.
Like you're not doing anything here, guys. Like, those tax cuts are staying in lovely bank accounts and they're not stimulating shit.
Right.
And
but also with that, I think we've seen Bernie Sanders starting to make more of a rush in the Senate. I think he is going to be more of a loudmouth now that he ain't got nothing to lose.
Okay. And Kathy has a question.
Okay.
7/28/62. Will my rent be paid on time? By Ashley and Steven.
I feel that it is paid on time, but I think you've got to use what I call Jewish mother's grief to remind them to pay it.
Oh, the guilt trip.
Yes.
The guilt trip of guilt trips.
Mm-hmm. But no, it's been a good show. Hope you guys enjoyed our shows during 2020. We have had an evolvement of the show. We went to video format. We went to podcasting. If you're following me on TikTok, you'll get a 3-card reading every day. So, I've been doing that since I started the TikTok. We have a lot of content that's going to be going out and continuing to go out other than the 2 shows. We do produce, the energy overviews will hopefully be out for patrons within the next day or 2. And then it'll go up on the 1st for our YouTube and Facebooks. Mountain Bear.
And you've been having fun. You should also point that out. You're actually having fun on TikTok. It's not just all business.
I'm really liking this 1-minute thing because I get to show my skills. For those that don't know, I am a speed reader. And I speed read fast. So 1 minute, please. I got some of those videos down to 42 seconds for a 3-card reading.
Yeah, that's cute. Now I'm talking about the lip sync.
Oh, the lip syncs are fun too.
Yes, you are having a blast.
Mm-hmm.
And no one has talked about your eyebrows this evening. Not a one. I feel so unappreciated.
Oh, well.
Wow. Oh, my gosh. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Drink my coffee. That's what I do. I just drink my coffee.
That's all you need to be doing. So guys, I hope you all check everything out. I hope you're enjoying the stuff. I've been liking some of the comments I get back on some of the stuff.
Thank you. Mika says they look marvelous. What did you do?
Cut and trim them.
Sorry, they look great. I wanted you to have like some feedback. Oh, and what is your TikTok screen name? Big surprise for everyone.
Name on everything is Aeson Knight. No matter what the platform is, no matter where it's at, you will always see me as Aeson Knight. 1 is because it's branded. 2 is because ain't nobody else can be me. And, so the TikTok's kind of a place for me to have a little bit of fun while being a little bit professional and doing some daily readings over there. But then it also gets uploaded to all the other places, i.e., suddenly I have something to put on my Facebook story and I have something to stick over on my Instagram button. And I have been uploading them to YouTube for my YouTubers. So you guys are all getting the 3-card readings, although some of the lip syncs may not go out to all the areas. I'm also on Twitter. The only other places I am on Twitter is Aeson K. I do own Aeson Knight, but I haven't used that screen name in a while because Twitter got picky.
There you go.
Yeah.
So have you been posting those as Twitter fleets?
Yeah.
Like, can we talk about the worst name product ever, the Twitter fleet? Like, I just keep thinking of it as the Twitter enema. Like, can we just talk about that?
Well, it's supposed to be 15 seconds. Guys, I'm fast, but I ain't that fast. So that one's been fun editing.
Oh, yeah, I would say so. Like, 15 seconds? Ew. That is nothing. That's
when you do 1, 2, and 3, and you put them all up together, and they all shoot up the same thing. Which I'm starting to think about even loading them to Snapchat.
Ooh, very cool.
Yeah, so then it'll be all over the place.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But alrighty, so of course we want to thank our Patreon supporters. You know we can't do it without you guys, and we sincerely appreciate your report. And yes, I am stalling until it restarts. I thought I could get that out fast enough so I could read it, but I couldn't. So we're just gonna keep sitting here looking silly for a minute until it restarts, because I don't want to ever leave anyone out. So, of course, we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, who wasn't here tonight, Brenda Bryant, Ashley Gist, and the Crystal Lotus Shop, located at 89 Old Main Plaza in St. Albans, West Virginia. If you're in the area, make sure you stop in and check them out. If you'd like to become a Patreon sponsor or you would like to learn more about us and the show, please visit PCSPnetwork.com.
Yes, and we will see you Friday night at 9:30 for Mountain Bears. Well, the content's a little different. We can be a little bit more relaxed with it, and it's a little bit more like GPLT news related, and Poly news related. So the alphabet soup relation, which will be fun. Oh, so it's going to be a great 2021 for most of us. Some of us will have to do some growth to get through it, but remember, we make it better. And Aaron makes a great point. Mask you up. Come on, people, put on your mask. We're not asking you to put on a gas mask that your grandmothers did. We're asking you to put on a cloth mask and wash your hands. Saying happy birthday to yourself. It changes your vibrational energy while you get your hands washed. And always, always remember, stay out of crowds, stay away from the public. They're not fun. Bye, y'all.
Bye.